just about every other day during preseason camp we'll do early work, and that's a 3 or 4 minute period just prior to our warm-up that will really discipline and condition the ability of the student athlete to play with a base, to play at low pad level, to get his eyes up, not turn his head, rub your ribs, get your thumbs up and your hands inside. It's really a leverage drill. It's not a drill that we ask the players to do more than 3 or 4 times. We want to do it right. The first time we want to, again, condition our technique, our fundamentals, and ultimately the way we react to the tough elements of the game. And again, we feel like it's safe. We try to limit the collisions, and again, it's in a controlled environment. So as we look at the screen, the upper left-hand portion of the screen, you have wide receivers versus defensive backs, and that's just really a stalk drill. Again, we don't like them getting further away than 3 or 4 yards. It's really where your hat placement should be, your hands playing with leverage and a base. Again, we're always drilling and disciplining what we call football position. That's base, knee bend, and then obviously eyes, hands, and leverage. The lower left-hand corner is the center and both guards going against the nose tackle and Mike. The upper right-hand corner is the running backs and fullbacks going against generally our Sams and Wills, our outside linebackers in a pass rush movement. And then we have tight ends and tackles going against Sams and ends at the bottom of the screen. And again, we'll take a look at it, but we're looking for 3 or 4 reps max. Usually it's 2 or 3. And again, what we're trying to get them to understand is we have to take our technique, our training, our drill work, and make sure that converts into a competitive situation. And this is a great drill to teach that. So the first drill we'll do is the wide receivers and DBs, and that's merely just a stalk drill. And again, we're just looking for hat placement. We're asking, in this case, we're asking for the defensive back to finish the drill with a movement, a rip, a strain and rip to get off the block. And clearly, in this case, we're asking the wide receiver to have a base, try to get your hands inside and finish. Here's an application of it to the game. Again, the difference between an average play and an explosive play is generally effort, and we're asking him to stalk block now, just like we did in the early work, to stay on him, to play with a good base, to have his hat placement in the right aim point, to have his hands inside, to have good leverage, and then ultimately to fight for 6 seconds. I think that's the most important thing that we're trying to train in every movement, and that's how you really define a mentally and physically tough team. Does your team finish regardless of the circumstance? Let's take a look up the top of the screen. Just a flare pass to our slot back, and again, we get a nice, appears to be a 15-yard gain, which wouldn't have been as successful without that kind of block. So again, great application of the drill to the game setting. Again, I think the most important thing to understand is just remember that we're not killing anybody. We're controlling the environment. We're breaking down the hits. In this case, we're looking at either the tight ends versus the Sams or the tackles versus the ends. And this particular instance here, it's a tackle versus a defensive end. And again, we're looking for leverage. We're looking for pad level, footwork. Again, they're very close, so it's not something where you're going to have a high risk. It's really just kind of two similar wrestlers, but having a good base, trying to play with leverage. We'd like to stay off the ground. In that case, but here's the application to the game, and I think that's the most important thing. He strikes on the rise. He's got a great base. He's disengaging. He's getting his feet outside the framework of the body to make the play in the gap that he is assigned to be in. So I think that's a great application of the game in this instance here by Anthony Chickolo. Good pad level. Again, he's going against a big man, so very, very well done, executed on that play. We'll look at a tight end going against a Sam now. And again, we don't like the Sam to be in a 9 technique, or if we go against the linebackers, we don't like them 5 yards off the ball. We just want to. It's really just we're trying to get see who can get their hands inside and see whose hat is below whose hat, and then ultimately we're trying to play with a base. And for us, that's the football position. That's, you know, you hear us say it all the time. Be able to be in a football position, play with a bend, play with a base, play with your eyes up. Don't turn your head. We always talked about our guys turning the stripe of their head. Well, that's where they get stingers. That's where they get injuries to the head, and we don't want to do that. But the only way you can train that and really reduce injuries is by putting it in an environment like this, breaking it down, and then essentially giving that skill to go out and play with on the field. Let's take a look at Dylan Dye, one of our tight ends now. Again, really good rep. Hands inside. Again, we like to stay up if we can, but hands are inside. Let's take a look at number 70 here, the right tackle. Again, are we getting our hands inside? Once we get to this spot right now, once that initial footwork gets us to this spot, it's just simply early work at this point. And now it's do I have a base? Are my hands inside? Am I playing with low pads? Okay, and again, we always talk about in this drill, the fight begins on contact. So once I make contact, am I running my feet? Do I have a base? If my hands miss, do I reset my hands or drop my weight? And those are all the things that we're trying to apply to the game. This is a great example here by our right tackle, Jonathan Feliciano. Again, really good finish on that. We're looking for a 6-second competitor every play. So now we're talking about the running backs versus the outside linebackers. Of course, the running backs are trying to move laterally, play with a base, strike with their hands, have their head back, okay, have their elbows in, and really mirror the pass rusher. The linebackers in this case, generally the Sams and Wills or the Mikes and Wills, however you want to break it down, are edge rushers. We don't allow them to bull rush. We don't want them to bull rush. We don't need those kind of running hits in the middle of practice. We ask them to use one pass rush move and then have a counter. That's it. Even at the college Division I level, one pass rush, one counter, and that's it. You can use a bull rush as your third, but that's what we like to drill in this period. Again, here you see Michael James at running back, and does a really good job. We prefer that he not lead with his head as much, that he really sit back and punch, but he does a great job moving his feet laterally here. And he's excited about it, which is great. Again, we're not looking for a bull rush ever. We want to make sure if we're going to use a skate move here or we're going to use a swim, let's use that. We don't want to use a bull rush on the opposite side. Good job here by 33. Initially, got his weight forward. Again, so you could tell this is not a heavy-duty contact drill. It's really more about technique. At this place right here, the whole team in this period for 3 or 4 minutes, this is it. And no matter whether you run there, you pull there, you're a second-level blocker, you're a stalk blocker, or you're on this side, it doesn't matter. At this point, it's stripe to stripe for everybody. So what's going to win? Here's how you win. You win with your base, you win with your power angles, you win with your knee bend, you win with leverage inside of him, and you win with low hat level. And that's it at the end of the day. That is our football position, and we say it all the time. We work it in our off-season program. We're constantly trying to make sure we're working on their ankle and knee flexion, and then also low pads, eyes up, shoulders back, and be able to punch and play in that football position. Because at this point on, that's all it is football position. So it's a great learning tool for everybody on the team. Again, how do we apply it to the game? Well, this is it right here. Let's go back and look at this scoreboard here. 24 seconds left, fourth quarter, okay? And Carolina just recovered an onside kick, and they look like they're going in, okay, with the ball in the 42. They look like they're going in and the challenge for a touchdown. So, again, you're trying to make everything automatic. You're trying to make everything so that at the end of the day, we react a certain way in a specific situation, that habit is brought to the game. And what you're training is brought to the game. There's a great example here. And we'll see it again. If everybody just focus here on number 31, Sean Spence, now of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Watch Sean come off second nature now. Skate move, finish, all right, game over. That's it. And that's all we're trying to train. On the inside three now, centers and guards versus nose tackle and Mike. Again, it essentially ends up being 3 one-on-ones. Again, we don't like the linebackers being too far from the line of scrimmage in this drill. But essentially all it is if you just look at it, it's just whether he has to step there, okay, or run there, if it's this guy running there, or they step there. Once they get to this point now, it is just a football position, and it's a leverage drill. And it's running your feet on contact, it's low hat, it's hands inside, and it's knee bend. It's all the things that we train. And that's all we're trying to teach the guys, is that it's okay to run there, and it's okay to know that you have that guy. But what do you do when you get there? What's your responsibility when you get there? Knowing your assignment is one thing. Doing your job is the other thing. And to do your job at this level of football, you got to understand the impact that being in a football position has on the results of each and every battle on each and every play in the game. So again, that's the kind of intensity that we're looking at. Again, if you just look at this situation here, it's just the same 3-on-3 drill we just saw. It's the exact same 3-on-3 drill. Now, okay, again, this guy's going to motion over and block him. We're going to block here, but for these guys in here, it's the same 3-on-3 drill. Okay, if you just look at this right here, it's taking the training to the game, taking the drill to the game. We don't just drill the drill. The players need to know the hows and the whys. Show them how and tell them why, and then you'll have better impact and improved results for your team. Again, great application of the drill to the game. Good finish by a lot of guys there. That's what we're looking for. That's what we call Miami Hurricane football there. Finishing, all right, with an attitude, being a 6-second competitor, and ultimately, without putting the kids in danger, you're teaching them the fundamentals, the toughness, the technique, and again, in a controlled environment where you know they can really reduce risk and reduce injury.